Every click, every tap, and every swipe tells us something about who we are, what we like, and maybe even how we'll behave in the future. For companies, that means a goldmine of information. With every interaction, more pieces of the puzzle come together, revealing a clearer picture of our desires, fears, and dreams. But that's just scratching the surface. In this video, we're going deeper. We're talking about the third dimension of big data, consumer sentiment, how people feel about things, what they think, and why. Because understanding that can be worth billions. When we think about the internet today, we often picture giant social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. But there's one platform that stands apart, not because it's glossy or full of influencers, but because it thrives on raw, community-driven conversation. That platform is Reddit, famously known as the front page of the internet. Our story begins in 2005. Two college friends, Alexis Ohanian and Steve Huffman, had a vision, but not the one you might expect. Their first big idea wasn't Reddit at all. It was something called My Mobile Menu, a mobile food ordering service. Imagine it, in an age before smartphones took over, before food delivery apps like Uber Eats or DoorDash, these two were already dreaming of making it possible to order lunch from your phone. But here's the twist. The technology and the market simply weren't ready. The world wasn't yet hungry for that convenience. So the idea was rejected by early investors. But instead of giving up, Ohanian and Huffman did what great innovators do. They pivoted, and this pivot would change the internet forever. They decided to focus on building a news aggregation site, a place where users could share links, stories, images, and ideas, and where the community itself would decide what content rose to the top. Initially, they called it SNU, short for What's New, but that name didn't stick. Soon after, they settled on the quirky yet memorable name Reddit, as in, I read it on Reddit. By the end of 2005, Reddit had a small but growing community. The concept was simple yet powerful. Any user could post something, and others could upvote or downvote it. Popular posts floated to the front page, while less interesting ones faded into the depths of the site. This democratic system, driven entirely by its users, gave Reddit a unique personality that was very different from the algorithm-driven feeds we see today. The next turning point in Reddit's history came not from within, but from the downfall of a rival. Back then, there was another big name in news aggregation, a site called Dig. For a while, Dig dominated the space. But over time, a series of unpopular redesigns and management decisions alienated its user base. As frustrated users looked for an alternative, many of them found a new home on Reddit. The migration was so significant that it helped Reddit solidify its dominance in the world of online discussion boards. With growth came new challenges. Moderation, spam, and content quality became hot topics. Communities known as subreddits began to form around every interest imaginable, from technology and gaming to history, science, and niche hobbies you've never even heard of. This allowed Reddit to become more than just a news site. It became a living archive of human curiosity and creativity. The platform also gained a reputation for viral moments. AMAs, Ask Me Anything, interviews, brought in everyone from astronauts to actors, scientists to politicians. Some of the most memorable internet moments of the past decade started on Reddit before spilling over into mainstream media. Of course, with great influence comes great responsibility and controversy. Reddit's openness has sparked debates about free speech, content moderation, and the ethics of online communities. But regardless of where one stands on these issues, there's no denying the platform's cultural impact. For those looking to make the most of Reddit, there's an art to success. The timing of your post matters. Early mornings in the US often get the most visibility. The type of content you submit, whether it's an image, a personal story, or a breaking news link, can determine how it resonates. Titles are key. Clear, intriguing, and relatable headlines often outperform vague ones. And then, there's the shadowy side, the controversial practice of buying upvotes to artificially boost visibility. While frowned upon by the community and against Reddit's rules, it's an open secret that some marketers and brands have tried to game the system. Today, Reddit stands as a testament to the power of community-driven content. From a failed mobile food ordering concept to one of the most influential sites on the internet, its journey is a reminder that sometimes the best ideas are born from unexpected detours. And as long as there are stories to tell, debates to have, and curiosity to satisfy, Reddit will remain, in its own words, the front page of the internet. The value of understanding consumer sentiment can't be overstated. Let's take, for example, the automotive industry. Ford, the iconic American car maker, has been listening closely to what consumers have been saying about their vehicles. Through analyzing reviews, social media posts, and online discussions, Ford has been able to identify key areas of satisfaction and dissatisfaction among its customers. For instance, they discovered that the fuel efficiency of their hybrid vehicles was a major selling point. People were really liking the fact that they were getting better gas mileage without sacrificing too much on performance. On the flip side, they realized that the infotainment system in some of their models was causing frustration. People were finding it clunky, slow, and difficult to use. Armed with this knowledge, Ford has been able to make some strategic decisions. They've been investing more in making their infotainment systems more user-friendly, and have even gone as far as partnering with companies like Apple and Spotify to make sure that their systems integrate well with popular apps. They're also using the positive feedback about their hybrids to push out more eco-friendly vehicles and promoting the gas mileage benefits heavily in their marketing campaigns. Similarly, Netflix, the global streaming giant, uses sentiment analysis to understand how people feel about their shows and movies. Take, for instance, their original series, House of Cards. When the show first came out, the general sentiment was very positive. People were talking about it a lot, and it seemed like a big hit. However, as the show progressed, the sentiment started to shift. People began to criticize the writing, the acting, and even the production values. Netflix took this feedback to heart and made some changes. They replaced the show's creator, tweaked the storylines, and brought in new directors. These changes were based on the sentiment they were seeing from viewers, which ultimately led to the show being more successful in its later seasons. Similarly, when it comes to their movie releases, Netflix pays attention to the buzz online. If a movie is getting a lot of negative reviews or social media chatter about how bad it is, they might not promote it as heavily or put more effort into the marketing to downplay expectations. All of this is done based on sentiment analysis of what consumers are saying online. These examples, though from very different industries, highlight the same thing. Sentiment analysis is invaluable. It helps businesses to connect better with their customers, improve their products, and make informed decisions. In today's world where consumers have a platform to voice their opinions, and businesses can listen and respond accordingly, sentiment analysis isn't just a useful tool, it's a necessity. Now let's talk about how Reddit is handling sentiment analysis. The process of understanding how people feel about something. At its core, Reddit is all about understanding the sentiment of its users, whether it's excitement, frustration, humor, or disbelief. The platform thrives on the emotions that drive our conversations. When you think about it, the very nature of the upvote and downvote system is a sentiment indicator. It tells you whether the community liked something or not. Over time, Reddit has built a sophisticated system around this basic concept. Advanced algorithms comb through millions of posts and comments daily, tracking the emotional tone, the language used, and the context of the conversation. It's a complex process, but the results are invaluable. Reddit takes this sentiment data and puts it to work. It tailors the content that each user sees, pushing posts and comments that are likely to resonate based on their individual interests and emotional preferences. It also uses sentiment to moderate its platform, identifying and removing content that doesn't align with its community guidelines or goes against the emotional tone of a subreddit. This approach has several benefits. For one, it creates a more engaging experience for users, keeping them on the site longer and coming back for more. It also helps in building a strong sense of community within subreddits, as users are more likely to feel that the content in their feed aligns with their interests and emotions. Additionally, Reddit leverages this sentiment data to inform its business decisions. When brands want to advertise on Reddit, they don't just throw money at boosting a post. Instead, they work with Reddit's team to understand the sentiment of a subreddit and tailor their message accordingly. This ensures that ads don't just get seen, they get received and acted upon. Looking ahead, Reddit's approach to sentiment analysis is likely to become even more nuanced. The platform is exploring ways to better understand sarcasm, humor, and other complex forms of communication that rely heavily on sentiment. It's also investing in tools to make its moderation efforts more efficient and accurate, ensuring that the platform remains a safe and welcoming space for its users. In conclusion, Reddit's ability to harness the sentiment of its users has been key to its success. By understanding what people feel and why, the platform has created a thriving community of engaged users, something that other social media sites have struggled to achieve. As technology evolves and our understanding of human language and emotions deepens, Reddit is well positioned to continue refining its sentiment analysis, cementing its place as a leader in online community building and engagement. If you want to dive deeper into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence, consider checking out our other videos. We explore various AI concepts and their real-world applications in a clear and understandable way. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or just curious about AI, we have something for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.